It is a question that everyone is asked at some point in their life. What happens when you die? Do you go to a magical white kingdom where you will spend the rest of eternity with those you love? Do you go to a fiery underworld where you will endure an endless amount of pain and torture as you pay for the sins you committed in your life? Or do you go to a realm of nothingness? Most religions of the world tell us that when we die, we either go to heaven or hell, depending on the faith and love we showed for our Creator during our physical life. Although some are similar, each religion has their unique paths one must take in order to receive passage into their kingdom of God. Christianity is the only religion that teaches man can do nothing to earn or pay his way into heaven. Man, a slave to the nature of the sin he was born with, must completely rely on the grace of God in applying Christ's sacrifice to the sin of the believer. People are saved by faith in the death and resurrection of Christ. Upon death, the spirits of Christians go to heaven, while the spirits of unbelievers go to a temporary holding place called hell. At the final judgment, unbelievers are separated from God for eternity in the lake of fire. Buddhism also believes that heaven or nirvana is to be rejoined in spirit with God. Reaching nirvana, a transcendental, blissful spiritual state, requires following the Eightfold Path. This includes understanding the universe and acting, speaking, and living in the right manner and with the right intentions. Mastering these and the other of the 8 paths will return a worshipper's spirit to God. Hinduism is similar to Buddhism in some ways. Salvation, or moksha, is reached when the worshipper is freed from the cycle of reincarnation and his spirit becomes one with God. One becomes free by ridding oneself of bad karma, the effect of evil action or intent. This can be done in 3 different ways: through selfless devotion to and service of a particular god, through understanding the nature of the universe, or by mastering the actions needed to fully appease the gods. Islam is a takeoff on the Christian/Judeo God. Muslims believe salvation comes to those who obey Allah sufficiently that good deeds will outweigh the bad. Muslims hope that repeating what Muhammad did and said will be enough to get into heaven, but they also recite extra prayers, fast, and perform good works in hope of tipping the scales. Martyrdom in service to Allah is the only work guaranteed to send a worshipper to paradise. Although some assume that there is indeed no afterlife and that upon death we cease to exist, one might argue and say, well, what about those people who have had near-death experiences and claim that they went to heaven and back as they continue to live their lives convinced that they really did go to heaven? Well, although this phenomenon has not been completely debunked by scientists, each day we are continuing to get closer and closer to understanding the truth behind near-death experiences. Recently, through a series of studies on dying mice, scientists concluded that brain activity spiked significantly as the rodent entered cardiac arrest and eventually died. The study also showed that upon death, the brain's activity reached levels that surpassed the normal levels of activity in the brain when the mouse was alive and well. Such high levels of brain activity could certainly result in hallucinations and other visually impairing effects. Now, does this explain all of the near-death experience stories that we also commonly hear? Not necessarily. Even though it is more difficult to test this theory on human brains, scientists conclude that what happens to a mouse's brain should not be too far apart from what happens in the human brain upon death. In the end, the only ones who understand what happens to us when we die are those who have already passed. Although we will forever seek the truth to the age-old question, what happens to us when we die, the best thing for us to do right now is to be thankful for life itself, live each day to the fullest, and treat others the way you would want to be treated. Because you never know which door death lingers behind, as it could be opened at any moment. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you were able to learn something new or, just something like that. It's no big deal. But my name is Weendawg and I make videos like this every week. So make sure to subscribe to Weendawg TV. Thank you very much and have a good life.